here and a few... Advanced. These sure are some interesting books. She even has books on understanding... This is it!
Wait, this thing? The space behind it is empty. Could Lynette have tried to get inside? Let's look around here for some more clues.
Hey, you guys, there's a slip of paper.
A slip of paper?
It's right over here, and there's a bunch written on it too. It reads, out of respect for your usual practices, I'll use a piece of paper or card as the medium to pass on my...
This is...
Is that all? The back.
Show me!
That look on your... Would you care to guess where Miss Lynette of the Fatui could be? No. Could she have... Is she already...
Wriothesley... Did he do...
Wait, you mean he was aware of our...
Yes, that is a crucial question. You're not from the same camp as us. You were sent down here by Nervulette, so you have no conflict of interest with Wriothesley. I'd like to know that too. Don't panic, just think it... Wait, you're right. The fact that Fremine was able to leave the grounds...
But what does he gain by letting...
So he's challenged... If Wriothesley let him leave on purpose, then he's...
Lenny's getting more and more panicked. We have to calm him down. Don't be like this, Lenny.
No, I'm the leader of this operation.
Hey, don't be reckless. Traveler, please.
I simply cannot allow Lynette to be abducted again. I have to go. I'll find a way to get them back.
He's rushed out the door. After him.
Right. I feel like we still have some room.
It's not impossible, but it'll require extensive testing.
Is that so? Very well. Then please be mindful of the time. Huh?
Is someone?
Pack everything up. Whoever's outside is eavesdropping. They'll probably come in once we stop talking. Someone! Please help!
Whoa, are you okay?
What a delightful turn of events. I like smart people. Oh my! What's wrong, little one? Being able to read human expressions is... Lenny! Wait! It's no use. We have to catch up to him. He's already out of sight. How is he so fast? Let's go head him off at Wriothesley's office.
Come out and face me, Wriothesley!
Aren't we at an administrative office space? Why don't you at least try to follow even a couple rules from the fortress's indoor management regulations?
What did you do to my sister?
I ran into the young miss at the infirmary. I'd heard that she was suffering from quite the migraine, so I decided to invite her over for a cup of tea. I do have some teas in my collection that can work wonders against such an illness.
Stop joking around! Where did you take my sibling?
I have also heard that your performances are quite the spectacle. Miss Lynette would... Maybe she'll appear behind you right now if you were to turn your head.
Is he trying to trick? You knew we were investigating the As for Fremine... No, you probably didn't even...
There was no need to do so.
You removed our original members and spread the news of...
One correction. Lynette is in my hands, right?
He's not. What do you...
Lenny!
Oh, wonderful. Everyone is here, so I'll only need to say this. Eager and to the point, I see. Alas, only Miss Lynette, although as per your original plan, Mr. Fremine...
Wait, you locked him outside in the sea?
I closed the fortress's gate.
Fremine's a star.
No, we're still here, so he definitely...
But why would I do this, you may be asking? To have an audience with you, of course. Besides, I do recall you mentioning to Miss Lynette...
So, you've been keeping tabs on us before we even said...
Some of my folks just happened to hear a thing or... I was willing to play dumb and turn a blind eye, so... Mr. Linney, the cards are stacked against you right now. You need do but one thing to get...
You want to see Father?
Well, if she cares for the well-being of her dear... I've heard that the bonds between the members of the House of the Hearth are like...
Why did you think Father sent us to handle the Fortress of Meripede? This place is basically a no-man's land.
Oh, I see. So it's because...
Was this the extent of your master plan?
You people really are difficult to get along with. Mr. Linney, you have...
Lenny!
Instead of asking why I'm doing this, why don't you try to see things from... I gave you a warning by cutting... Mr. Fremine left the fortress on his own. And...
I shouldn't ask Father to...
6...
Wait,
2... Time's up.
Risley!
Negotiations have broken down. Please leave.
Yeah, listen to the Traveler. If you can't touch...
You do realize that I'm only letting you go because of Neuvillette, yes? But that doesn't mean you can just do whatever you want. The fortress may be small... Then how about this? Those who are capable deserve respect. You've spent quite some... I'll ask you 3 questions. Question 1. Regarding the hidden rules of the production zone, what is the truth behind the one about not being allowed to work for 3 days in a row?
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before lunch. But what could Sigewinne be doing during that time? The Fonta promoter has been struggling because we often see Miss Sigewinne observing the prisoners at work near the production zone. Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged... The research notes said that the Melusine race perceives the world very differently from humans. Because of that... According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place... I've been told that the infirmary is always empty. The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he does... We often see Miss Sigewinne observing the prisoners at work near the... I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before... The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the... I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before lunch. The Fonta promoter has been struggling. We often see Miss Sigewinne observing the prison... I've been told that the infirmary is always... Fonta's internal reports suggest... The research notes said that the Melus... According to Collins, the... I've been told that the infirmary is always... The Fonta promoter has been struggling. We often see Miss Sijuin observing the I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value of coupons. Meanwhile, we often see Miss Sijuin observing the Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting The research note said that the Melusine race perceives the world very differently from humans. According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fonta company... I've been told that the infirmary is The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't... We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work near the production zone. I've been told that the infirmary is always... I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just... We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at... I've been told that the infirmary is always... We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work near the production zone. I've been told that the infirmary is always empty. I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just... We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prisoners at work near the production zone. We often see Miss Sijuin observing... I've been told that the infirmary is always empty. Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed... We often see Miss Sijuin observe... I've been told that the infirmary is Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged product. The research note said that the Melusine...
Ah, so that's what's going on. Paimon understands it now. Who would have guessed? The hidden rule of the production zone. People are not supposed to work 3 days in a row, and if they do, they'll get strange meat in their welfare meal. At first, we thought this strange meat must have something to do with the people who disappeared, but in reality, they were all prepared by Sijuin, the head nurse. She often visits the production zone to observe the workers' health and makes a note of anyone who has worn themselves out after 3 full days of work. Out of her sense of duty as the head nurse, as well as her genuine concern for the workers' health, Sijuin visits the cafeteria right before lunch and cooks an extra dish for those who can use the stamina boost. Sijuin has only the best intentions with her surprise gift and doesn't want anyone to find out about what she does. However, unfortunately, Melusines as a race perceive the world differently from humans, and their sense of aesthetics is even more alien to us. The recipients of her lovingly prepared special meals cannot taste the care within and usually just freak out. Are we on the right track?
Not bad. You've uncovered Sijuin's secret and even guessed her intentions correctly as well. It's nice to know that her efforts have not gone unacknowledged. All right, now for my next question. There are also some hidden rules in the Pancration Ring, including the one that you're not allowed to support both sides of a fight. Why is that?
I've been told that the infirmary is always empty for the half hour just before lunch. Fonta's internal reports suggest that there's... We often see Miss Sijuin observing the prison... Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting a new trial of an unnamed and unpackaged product. But the product has to undergo a trial because even Fonta's own employees have a lot of reservations about it. The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he doesn't recognize the real value of coupons. Meanwhile, the Duke believes that only idiot... The research note said that the Melusine race perceives the world very... According to Collins, the Pancration tournament only took place because the Fonta company sponsored it. The research note said that the Melusine race... The Fonta promoter has been struggling because... Fonta's internal reports suggest that they're starting a... Fonta's internal reports suggest that... The Fonta promoter has been struggling because he does...
Paimon gets this rule too now, so there really was nothing to be afraid of. That hidden rule of the Pancration Ring is about how, people are not supposed to bet on both boxers at the same time. And if they do, they'll receive a package containing a strange, blood-colored liquid. People get scared when they see it because they've subconsciously begun to associate it with the missing boxer. But really, it's just a bottle of the latest yet-to-be-named and packaged new Fonta trial product. A blood-red drink. It's no wonder even Fonta's own staff were questioning the company's decision-making. The company, facing backlash from its own staff, decided to try to trial the product on a smaller scale to see how it might be received by customers. They came to the fortress of Meropide and offered to sponsor the Pancration tournament so they could push their new product. But the Duke completely refused to even entertain the idea. The Duke, knowing how valuable coupons are in the fortress, knew that only total idiots who didn't understand their true value would bother buying a Fonta product here. And so, only those who proved their stupidity by being dumb enough to bet on two opposing sides of the same match were selected to receive the drinks.
I acknowledge the effort you've put into bringing the truth of this mystery to light. Although, based on your description, that Fonta promoter is a bit too careless with his words, I may just reconsider my collaboration with the company. All right, and here's the final question. What's the secret behind our head nurse and all of her patients in the infirmary?
Stop your cruel and pointless games, Risley! You know that we haven't finished our investigation, so there's no way we can answer the last question. The thought is, you'll pay for... Ah!
Lenny, are you alright?
Oh, close one.
It was nothing, Your Grace. Sijuin, though this gun may look like a toy, it's actually fully functional, as I just...
See... Lane...
Not at all. I am merely arrested. When Monsieur Nervillette asked me to come here, he told me that my job would be to take care... But if you mean what you just said, then isn't Lenny someone you should be looking after as well? Isn't he a resident here just like the rest of us? But I really am just doing what Monsieur Nervillette told me to do. Everything I did, I've done to protect them. Had I not, His Grace knows it too, right? Your Grace?
My dear Sijuin, whatever shall I do with you? Would it have killed you to just wait another minute or two?
Well, it's nearly time after all. What are you talking about?
Take me if you want.
How touching. Can you just give me one more minute?
Don't be like that, Your Grace.
All right, everyone, calm down. I'll go get a cup of tea. Miss Sijuin.
You...
I believe I hear...
Some space, please.
Ah, Miss Clarande. My door.
Renee...
What's going on? What is Claran doing here?
Work.
I'm sorry about shooting you, Mr. Linney. The tranquilizing effect will begin to wear off.
What happened to Fremine? Wasn't he diving just outside of the fortress? Why is he looking like...
A flushed face, an accelerated pulse. He must...
What?
Please, make some space. I'll need to give Mr.
I'll talk to Clorand while you get Fremine to where he needs to be.
What's that look on your face? I thought I made good time on the way back.
Oh, I'm just admiring your punctuality. Had you arrived just a few minutes later, Sigewinne may have been forced to shoot Mr. Linney again. How's the situation out there?
The water has changed. It's pretty much as expected. The concentration of primordial seawater has increased significantly. I was only out there a short time, so it wasn't too bad. But if one were to stay for any significant amount of time... well, you can see how that boy's doing.
Where was he when you found him?
The abandoned zone at the end of the pipes. A good distance into the water.
Closer than I thought. He must have recognized it early on and tried desperately to swim back.
Locking the door was necessary. I don't think we could have saved two.
Well, I did try to convince him that I had my reasons. Never seems to work, though.
It would probably work on Neuvillette. He has a knack for picking out who had good intentions, even when the outcomes were all terrible.
It's a bad sign if you're having to plead your case to Neuvillette. Want some tea?
Not particularly. If you want to drink some that badly, just say so.
Fine, I'd like to get some tea. Want me to get you a cup too, since I've already made it?
Might as well then, I suppose. Actually, do you have a towel? I would like to dry my hair.
How is he?
These symptoms are probably caused by an acute ingestion of a large amount of primordial seawater. Of course, it would be best if he stayed... sorry.
Why would he ingest a large...
Please, look after Mr. Fremine for the moment. I'll go fetch some medicine and a respirator. Oh, I'll bring Miss Lynette back with me.
Where is she? How is she right now?
Oh, she just took a nap in an empty room after I tranquilized her. Linny, are you okay?
I'll be fine.
Are you sure?
My hands and feet are still a bit weak.
I'm back, everyone.
Lenny! Oh. Fremine?
He'll be fine. But for now...
His breathing's beginning to slow.
Give me a hand and help me get him to the infirmary.
Yeah, I'll take him from this side. Lynette, together?
On it.
Traveler, you seem pretty worried about him. The Duke and Clarand are gone. They probably went to get some tea. The Duke will explain the truth in just a bit. Miss Clarand will need a break, since she only just...
Take it easy.
He's awake.
We're all here.
The infirmary. How do you feel?
Traveler. The sea. There's something wrong with...
Shh, it's okay.
No, listen to me. This is real... Pipes. Right, the pipes. It's all coming back to me now. I'm... Where could Master Child be? This mechanism looks like it's been tampered with. Could he have done it? It's getting stuck on something. Seems like I'll have to avoid those obstacles while I turn it. This is where the water starts. Master Child probably... The vegetation here is a bit more sparse. These traces aren't natural. A person must have left them, and recently. There are traces here too. I need to keep going. Huh? The traces are gone. But I don't see where he could have gone from here. Wait. What the? My heart is racing, and it's getting harder and harder to breathe. No good. I have to get back. They still don't know anything about what's going on. If I turn back right now, I should still be able to make it. I can't die here. This is bad. I'm feeling worse and worse, and I'm still underwater. I have to push on.
So, in other words,
That's right.
Miss Clarand brought you back, but we also don't know why she just suddenly appeared at the fort.
Miss Clorand, you say?
You're still too weak for Monet.
Miss Lynette is right.
a guest. Then I can assume right.
You should ask His Grace about that. Yeah, it's about time he actually told us what's going on.
No, please go on without me.
Lenny.
The logical part of my brain is aware that we're safe right now.
Understood.
In that case, I'll leave the infirmary to you.
Thank you. I'm so sorry, Lenny.
I'm also really sorry, Lenny.
Don't say that. It was all.
If I was stronger.
No, how can you?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that.
Lenny, we understand that you're.
Yeah.
I'm also really sorry, Lenny.
Don't say that.
If I was stronger.
No, how can you?
Huh?
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Lenny, we understand.
Yeah.
I take it Mr. Fremonet's condition has stabilized?
Of course! I wouldn't have left the infirmary otherwise.
I've been expecting those two, but might I inquire as to the purpose of your visit, Miss Sejuani?
I wanted to check up on Miss Cloran. How are you feeling?
Mostly fine, I think.
If you don't mind, I'd like to perform another quick physical exam. It'll just take a few minutes.
All right. Thank you for looking out for me. I'll take my leave for now, then.
Well, want to explain yourself, Risley?
Of course, but I'm not partial to the word choice of... where should I begin? How about you start by asking me any questions you... No. I just knew they were Fatui operatives sent...
You managed to monitor and stay...
They came here with ulterior motives. Initially, I thought their goal was just to investigate... Linny suggested that I had deliberately let him escape. But in truth, I didn't really do anything special to help or hinder him while he was... Of course, it's inevitable that the knave would make it... I'm also quite curious about where that harbinger went.
So you were hoping...
You make it sound like that's a bad thing. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. The Forbidden Zone has always been Linny's...
Are the rumors true? That you're...
Why would you put it like that? Isn't staying here all day and serving as the manager of the fortress a kind...
Oh, right! Paimon wanted to ask...
Me, of course. I paid her good Mora to come down to the fortress for some field work. As a champion duelist, Miss Cloran could be considered to be an independent party. I needed to find an exceptionally capable person to help me get through the impending crisis.
And saving Fremine was part of that crisis?
You can think of it like that, yes. Credit where credit is due, that boy is quite adept at diving. Had conditions not been as hot, that's not something you should be asking after. All I need to prove to you is that...
But we've already...
You make a compelling case.
Yeah, Paimon really wants to know...
Even if the truth may not be pleasant. Follow me.
Door here? And a whole basement behind it? Huh. You're pretty good at hiding stuff, Risley.
It seems you've forgotten just what kind of place the Fortress of Meripede is. Stand on the central plate.
Wait, is there a secret mechanism or... Whoa! So, this is the Forbidden Zone? Honestly, for a place so well hidden, Paimon sure doesn't see anything special. What a huge door!
There are 3 such isolation gates in total. Generally speaking, I'm the only one who's allowed to go inside. Hence the name Forbidden Zone. Am I correct to assume you're going to run on back and tell your little Fatui friends everything?
Well, Huh. So there's a switch on the side.
Stand back.
Whoa! They all just went up one by one!
Go on, have a look. I've been interested in what lies beyond that gate ever since I assumed leadership of the Fortress of Meripede. Of course, it would be unwise to recklessly open it, but it'd also be risky and negligent to... The readings on that dashboard have not budged since the day when I first laid eyes on this place. But over the past year, the needle has crept. Normally I would have ignored it, but I happened to have some free time when I noticed it, so I investigated. Very reasonable guesses. The temperature should vary with weather and climate changes, so for something... Later on, a few more possibilities occurred to me, such as over the past few days the needle has moved again. With that, and the symptoms that Fremine displayed after leaving the fortress, I can now confidently conclude...
The concentration of...
And that is precisely the problem. We're at the bottom of the sea, and now we're surrounded by toxic seawater. Somehow, primordial seawater got mixed in. Yes.
But forget about the two of us. Not even Novelette knows where the primordial sea could be, much less where we could find and plug a leak. Oh. Oh!
Seems like you've figured it out. I believe the primordial sea lies directly beneath this sluice gate. For some reason, the primordial seawater levels have risen significantly, and it's now very close to us. The indicators are now red. Although the gate still stands, some primordial seawater has already leaked out and mixed into the sea around us. If this continues, soon it will no longer be able to hold back the primordial sea at all. Yeah, you know what the legends say. If this place falls, then everyone in Fontaine will be turned into puddles in the span of a night.
But that's just too weird! Why would the Fortress of Meripede be built right above a sluice gate for the primordial sea? Who built this place anyway?
Your expression tells me you think this might be part of a vast, complicated conspiracy. To be honest, you might find the actual answer may be exceedingly boring. It's just that the secret of the Forbidden Zone had been long forgotten by the nation before I rediscovered it with my research. There's no single founder of the Fortress of Meripede in any traditional sense. What we know about its history has been left to us by the people who used to live here. When the previous Hydro Archon Egeria ruled the land, all convicted criminals from Fontaine were exiled. The people drove the criminals away like a wolf pack chasing away the banished. The criminals received no sympathy of any kind from the people. They were exiled to the desolate seaside, where they experienced only pain, struggle, and the bone-chilling cold. Some of them began to repent, and prayed to the Hydro Archon, asking if there was still anything they could do. The Hydro Archon took pity on them, and said, "You may go guard my secret, deep underneath the waves." And so, leaning on the power of the Hydro Archon, they gathered underneath the sea and began to build a fortress. They became a community down there in the deeps, and over the years helped it to grow. As the number of exiles increased, more and more people joined the community. When the first group of exiles died, they left the yet unfinished fortress to their successors. The Hydro Archon continued to lend her support, allowing the fortress and what it stood for to continue growing ever larger. Before long, this dark underwater fortress became the sinner's only home. And with that, the people here stopped referring to the fortress as a prison. They saw themselves as repenting sinners who would regain their freedom once they had sufficiently redeemed themselves. But as time went on, people also realized that the fortress was a lonely place. Once they had gotten used to life here, they could no longer feel comfortable living in the overworld. Once they had finished serving their sentences, some people left and some others chose to stay. They'd find some idle position and let their withered souls fade away with the ancient secrets of the past. After many, many centuries, few people still remember the reason for the fortress's founding. Now they just see it as an integral pillar of Fontainian society, as the place where criminals deserve to be sent. Now and again, researchers manage to break one law or another and live out their days in the fortress. I learned all this from an elderly historian. Everyone else just thought he'd made it all up.
But now you know every part of that history is true.
Indeed. That's just as the prophecy says. If this gate fails, then everyone will be dissolved into the sea. To be frank, not really. But sadly, that hasn't stopped this prophecy from proving all too accurate. Prophecies are troublesome things. Just hearing one will create the first wave of panic. Seeing signs of it will bring about the second, and actually witnessing it in real time, the third. Let's go somewhere else. I want to show you something. This is it.
Your Grace, perfect timing. The results from our last round of experiments have...
Wait, Jurier, he's not alone!
Huh? Lorvine and Jurier?
No need to panic, you two. I've already told them about our plan.
What? After you warned us not to tell a single soul about any of this?
I'm skeptical as well. Are you sure they are trustworthy?
The results speak for themselves, don't they? These two may already know more than you could ever imagine.
All right then, if Your Grace insists.
They seem harmless enough, so I'll trust them for now.
Well, how about some reintroductions? This is Jurier, one of the highest-ranked researchers from the Fontaine Research Institute. He used to work under Edwin. I trust that you've heard of Edwin? Good. Saves me a bit of time explaining. Edwin's main areas of research were archeum and gravimeters. As his assistant, Jurier is quite familiar with them as well. I hired him to be my technical consultant.
You want to blow up the fortress of Meripede?
Ah, what a lovely idea. I'm already imagining it in my head.
Gotta admit, I'm tempted as well.
Guys, focus! Focus!
That taskmaster over there is Miss Lorvine, and is also one of my technical consultants. While Jurier used to be Edwin's assistant, she used to be Jurier's assistant.
Ooh, are they together?
See, everyone keeps asking this question. Are you too sure you're not a couple and just using your work as a convenient cover?
Your Grace, I am not in a relationship with this man.
If I dated her, I'd officially be madder than Edwin.
Jeez, forget I said anything then. Follow me.
Whoa, there's another door that goes right up.
Your constant amazement makes it seem like the fortress can do anything.
But Paimon really thinks everything's super cool.
Well, let's spice it up a bit. And here you go.
What a huge ship? This is also a production zone that Paimon's never seen before. What's going on?
How much do you know about Fontainian history?
Not much at all.
Well, then maybe you haven't heard the story of ancient Lemuria. To give you a quick rundown, Fontaine used to be ruled by the Lemurian dynasty. According to legend, the Lemurian king Remus came to this land after being inspired by divine revelation and found the seer Sibila, who had taken on the form of a golden bee. Taking the golden bee with him and riding on a huge ship, the Fortuna, he created his nation above the surging waves. He called his nation Lemuria and used the Fortuna to incessantly search for new tribes and islands, calling on them to join his empire.
There's a ship in this story too?
Where there's water, there'll be ships. People believe that hope can always be found at the end of a voyage.
Do you believe that too?
To a point, I think. As you've already seen, I have a whole factory's worth of labor, materials, and technology at my disposal. Certainly can't hurt to give it a try. So the moment I began to speculate that the primordial sea might lie underneath the gate, I also began this project.
you inspired by the legendary Fortuna?
Maybe. Fontanians need something to hold on to cope with the impending disaster. Were the workers to find out the truth behind this ship, riots would destroy the fortress faster than any catastrophe. As the fortress's administrator, I'd never make such a reckless call. Alright, that's enough talking for now. I'll need another 3 cups of tea to soothe my throat. Seems like you're good. I'll leave you here for now.
Oh,
No worries. But don't forget, it's up to you whether or not you want to share.
yeah, we'll put a lot of thought into it.
Great. I look forward to what happens next.
Take it easy.
We're back!
Welcome back. Do you want a cup of tea?
How can you be so much like Risley, always drinking tea?
Huh. Actually, while I was sedated, I could still barely hear 2 people talking next to me.
Must have been Risley and Siege.
Yeah, I heard 1 male voice and 1 female, so it should have been the 2 of them. They really were just talking about.
I really can't make sense.
So, Traveler, Paimon, were you able to...
Yeah, he explained everything.
Very well. Then, would you mind checking your... Yeah, I took the time to rest, so I'm feeling a lot more relaxed now.
Nobody else is around, and Miss Sijuin.
All right, then I'll posit my theories. I asked myself, firstly, why was Fremine affected by the primordial seawater? It was...
Whoa!
That's our Lenny.
Secondly, Risley's... I spent quite a long time thinking about this. What's more, as long as the fortress doesn't do anything, if I had to guess, he probably has something that he's working on himself.
You're super smart.
Thanks so... If Risley does have a plan... that can't be the... I don't have enough information.
The sea will engulf everyone.
Could Risley have wanted to meet Father to figure out a... If you remember, I once mentioned...
Or perhaps he didn't know and just wanted to bring Father over to.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. I understand your concern. The 2 of you have already aided us. If you ever need anything else going forward, though you may not share the sentiment...
You have my gratitude.
Thank you for protecting Lenny when it really.
Why are you being so formal all of a sudden? Paimon's hungry.
Oh,
Alright, then we'll catch you guys.
You're incredibly helpful.
Yeah, you 2 are always telling me not...
time for dinner.
Come on, let's go pick up ours as well. Traveler and Paimon, over here. Are you here for dinner too, Miss? And I'm taking it. Huh. You're right. What would you like to eat? Yep, you can. I've already talked to our chef, Mr. Wolsey. It's all on me today, so you can get whatever you'd like. Me too! Don't forget Paimon! No problem. Just... so delicious. Paimon's so happy. Feeling full yet? How's the delicious? I'm so glad. Sigewin, do you do a bit of both, I suppose? I'm a Melazine, which means I'm very different from human beings. I must know what you're thinking if I want to take good care of you. You're really good at Really? You're reminded of it. Oh, and what did you mean back in Risley's? Oh, that. I just asked His Grace to look out for those children, especially that diver boy. Thankfully, Glorand is very strong and managed to save him in the nick of time. His Grace also sealed the pipes after Glorand left, but although the path was blocked, we still stationed some guards there to stop anyone from approaching. They were instructed to only open the door once Miss Glorand had returned. Oh, and I was keeping an eye on Mr. Linney as well. We had to press him, but we could. You were all super considerate. It's just what we do down here at the fort. Oh, I really wish Monsieur Nervula would come down here more often, too. Get a good night's rest, you two.
Ah, it's you two.
How's dinner?
It's all right. Miss Sigewin really put in a lot of effort.
So we heard that Risley invited you to come down to help, and you saved Fremonade too. You sure work super fast.
Oh, it was child's play.
Still, Paimon didn't know even champion duelists could take on side jobs. Oh, and why aren't you eating with Sigewin and the Duke? Won't you get bored eating by yourself?
Miss Sigewin was with you, and the Duke has business of his own.
Actually, didn't Navia say that you went out for dinner with her as well?
Yeah. First time in a long time.
First time in a long time? So you mean you've gone out to dinner with her in the past?
In the past, yes. You seem to be enjoying yourselves here. Things will be getting messy at the fortress soon. Don't run around unnecessarily.